What's good, everyone? Welcome back to FaShaun. This is episode 34. In this episode, we will be discussing something near and dear and just something that I use all the time. And I use it recreationally. I use it when I'm training. I use it sometimes even when I'm sleeping. And it is the bandana. And so today we are going to be looking at different types of bandanas, specifically how you should style them, and where people kind of go wrong with them, and then again my solution, and then we're going to do an outfit. So let's get into it. Okay, before we sort of get into the problem, let me show you how I wear my bandana all the time. So you have the square here, right? Hopefully this is the frame. It is, yep. Take one end, you put it together and you make a diamond, like so. Hold, or I guess a half diamond, triangle. You hold these two ends here, you wrap it around your head, above your ears. I wish I could do over ears, because I think it looks cooler if it's over ears, but I have headphones and those headphones tend to like go around my ears for activity sports, and so I can't do that. So you can do over ears or under ears depending on if you're able to, but I prefer actually over ears for the look. So then here it is. You stretch it out a little bit here just so that you don't get a headache. You put sort of the tip over here, just below the knot, and it's on. Right. And so you can either keep the wings out. What I like to do is have the wings above my head, so I pull the fabric a little bit, get the wings out there. Or you can take, let me see if I can do this. You can take the the bandana, and you can tuck it in to the underside of the wing and sort of make it kind of like a 90s style, kind of like skull cap. So you can do a bunch of things with this thing. In terms of the front, I have this, like, I don't know if I can show you, this ridge here that all humans have. I think it's their occipital bone. I'm trying to get this frame, it is. What you want to do is kind of put it over here, end it here, so that that proportion makes it flat. That addition of the bandana makes it flat. And that's kind of like where you would rest your bandana. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit spicy, what I'll do is I'll put it down as well, past that bone, covering my eyebrows, so it's just my eyes. I like to do this when I work out. It kind of focuses me, and you'll see a little bit of the bandana tip at the front here. That's how you know you have this look. Anyways, into the problem. So the biggest problem that bandanas face from a stylistic point of view, that when people rock them, is that the proportions are not adequately aligned to the rest. Like the rest of the outfit is not aligned with that of the bandana, because the bandana increases the proportion of your head by adding the wingtips, by adding a little bit of fabric here, some visual data. The proportions are increased, and so what that means is the rest of your outfit, in order to be the most effective, must also have a slight increase in proportion than usual. And so you'll see a lot of people rock a bandana with maybe more of a slim fitting type of outfit, but then the bandana makes their head appear larger, so now their head looks larger than their body, and there's a disconnect, and you notice it immediately that there's a disconnect. It's not as smooth when analyzing the outfit or when looking at the outfit from afar, and you definitely want to avoid that. Secondarily, I would say that the vibe of a bandana is very important to get right. If you don't get that right, you run the risk of having poor contrast, if that makes sense, in terms of just the energy of the outfit. Bandanas are usually, everybody kind of gets the paisley, right? These kind of very traditional, iconic, I can say iconic in this case because it's true, designs. And you get these sort of paisley designs, and that's more reminiscent of the 90s, of the 80s, going as far back even as the 60s. And in that sort of same vein, when you rock it with performance clothing, for example, maybe contemporary slim-fitting performance clothing that a lot of runners are wearing right now. That's a big thing as well within the running community. They're wearing bandanas. is that the vibe of the outfit is mismatched. It stops because performance clothing and bandanas have different eras of design, and you can wear it for sure, but it's again not going to hit as hard as the earlier problem if the vibes and eras are mismatched on your outfit, and again creates a poor contrast. Now let's look at the solutions that I have devised for both of them, and you'll see. Okay, so the solutions, at least the solutions that I have discovered. The first would be, if you have a wider proportion on your head, then of course the rest of your body will need to acclimate, will need to adapt and align to that wider proportion. You don't want to go too, again, slim fitting on your clothing because it'll create a poor balance of attention and the proportions will be lost. What you should be doing is, because this is now wider, I would recommend a triangle proportion, probably. Something where the thinnest point of the triangle is at the top, which is a little bit wider because of the bandana, and then you go wide, and then it's the widest at the bottom. So either wearing some chunky shoes or having really wide pants to go along with that triangle, just to make sure that everything coalesces in one sort of unit of attention, if that makes sense, where the proportions are all aligned, and then you can go from there. You can also do, if you're using it for running, an inverted triangle, which is slimmer at the top and slimmer at the bottom and wider at the top. And what I would recommend with that is a loose fitting tee, so a tee that is breezier for sure, boxier for sure, with the bandana, and then you go with your running shoes and your socks, right? And your probably pretty short running shorts. But those are the two proportions that I would leverage. But now let's get into the more serious of the solution. The bandana is a retro item, no matter what. It is reminiscent of the 60s, of the 70s, of the 80s, of the 90s. It is not something that is really reminiscent of anything in the near previous years. From 2010 and up, people barely wore bandanas, honestly. And so if you're gonna rock a bandana, you have to make sure that the vibe of the rest of the items complements your bandana. So if the bandana is purple and retro and fun and whimsical, then you should probably rock like a looser fit, more vintage purple tee, for example, right? So you would keep that proportion aligned, larger proportion on the top, larger proportion on the tee, but now the vibe of the item specifically goes with the bandana. And you can do the same thing with your pants, and you can do the same thing with your shoes. A lot of the times, if you just reference any of the album covers of the 90s, anybody wearing a bandana, it's always this sort of loose fit type of outfit, or even if the proportions are slightly wrong or messed up, the vibe of the rest of the items suits the bandana because it has a specific look. You can tell when something is from the 90s, you can tell when something's from the 80s, you can tell, right? The design language speaks for itself. So you just want to make sure that you match those vibes with the rest of your outfit, and that's when I think your outfit with your bandana will look the best. Okay, we've done the problem, we've done the solution. Let me style an outfit for you. And it's actually, honestly, I was in the gym earlier this morning, and I was wearing the bandana with this kind of vintage shirt that I got, and I think it was the perfect vibe match. So I'm literally gonna recreate my gym outfit for you, and you're gonna see how I think it totally went with the bandana vibe, including, again, the stylistic sort of similarities of the eras, but also the proportion. So yeah, let's do it now. Okay, so this is what I wore to the gym in the morning. It's a regular red bandana, single stitch 90s or maybe 80s Gold's Gym red tee, gray Yeezy Gap sweatpants, and then my trusty Nordas. Okay, here's the outfit that I used literally this morning at the gym, and I think it perfectly sums up how great bandana can really sort of add to an outfit. So, oh my god, as usual, we're going to start off with FCP, Fit, Contrast, and Proportion, my proprietary framework to style anything and everything. So, starting it off with fit. Fit is the easiest to get right. You're gonna know what works on your body versus what doesn't. What I want you to realize, and what I want people to really understand is fit's main rule is you gotta be comfortable. Comfortable, even if it's tight to the body, something is tight on you, you have to be comfortable when you rock that item. If you're not comfortable, I swear to God, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. I understand you look good, it's not worth it. Number one, name of the game, comfort for fit. And then also you just want to make sure that the fit isn't off on you where something is snagging, where it shouldn't be snagging, that's a red flag. Or if it's too loose, where it loses structure that it needs to have on your body, which is a little bit rare. But in terms of fit, be comfortable first. Next we have contrast. So I always say you have to complete the circle with contrast. There's contrast in colors, contrast in textures. You complete the circle simply because that adds balance to the rest of your outfit. So red on the bandana, red on the shirt of course, gray on the pants, gray on the shoes and the pants. I have yellow here. I don't have anything small and yellow, unfortunately, so that's the one thing that I love. It's the one thing I just don't have. But I would recommend maybe something with yellow detailing on some sunglasses, or maybe you have a bracelet that has some yellow detailing. Just something that has this gold and yellow on it somewhere on your body will do it really well. I think something with yellow gold accents versus like an entire thing being this color. Next, we have contrast and textures. Again, can't really say anything about this outfit. The one thing I'll say in respect to bandanas is that your bandana is made of cotton. It's a little bit thicker, probably if it's wool, versus something more like a polyester, where it's very sheeny and sort of thin. If you have a cotton bandana, which is what I recommend, you want other cotton items on you such that the textures align well and that there's no contrast issues. If I were to have a polyester bandana on right now, there would be a sheen, and I think you would notice it with that lighting, right? And lighting in the world. So just be careful around that, but again, that's kind of like really nitpicking. Lastly, we have proportion. Again, proportion is the hardest to get right. You have to know your body really well. Obviously, if you watch some of the other videos, some of the other lessons, I have leveraged the triangle proportion. You can see that this is an extended proportion of my head. It's expanded. Because of that, the rest of the items on my body should be slightly expanded as well. So the tee adds a little bit of breeziness, room. Obviously the pants are very wide and big and curved, which is what we like. And then the shoes are my chunky gym shoes, trail running shoes, inclement running shoes, etc. So you've started the proportion here, you styled it from the head down when it comes to the bandana. And again, because the vibe of the bandana, at least the one that I'm rocking, is around the 90s and 80s, in those times you had looser fit clothing that was slightly actually tapered to be kind of body conforming, but at the same time still offered some room of breathability. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this on how to rock bandanas. Hope you found this entertaining, but more importantly, hope you learned something. So I will catch you in the next one. Peace.